What is going on, fish keepers? Top of the morning, y'all. Welcome back to Fish for Thought, and it's time for another fish tank review. Let's rescape Joji's jar. You know, Joji is one of my favorite artists right now. The song Sanctuary, man, that slaps. So I'm super happy that Joji is getting a rescape. Hopefully this fish keeper is just being a little bit sarcastic with keeping Joji in a mason jar. Bro, it's making a ecosphere for a betta fish. If that's not sarcastic, it really is Armageddon out here. So this must be a joke. Joji must be like fresh off of the shelves of some like Petco or PetSmart. It's just being temporarily taken care of in a mason jar, but this is a rescape. Okay, so the good news is, the bad news is, it seems like it wasn't sarcasm. Leave it up to TikTok to ruin my day immediately. I need a coffee. I think if I were to hire anyone to help me run YouTube, it would be someone to just get me a coffee whenever I need it. That's their only job. Helps me remain sane throughout all this craziness. What kind of... I guess, okay, my bad. I guess that is what a rescape literally means. It doesn't mean an upgrade of the water volume or the size of the tank. Silly me, you know, to imagine a better life for Joji out here, this beautiful betta fish. Maybe for growing out a young betta fish. Okay, sure. But for their whole lives in a mason jar that's like 0.25 gallons of water, I mean, come on. It's good to have live plants, a nice natural hardscape. It's aesthetic, but that's all that is. Live plants can offer some benefits, but only if your tank is already pretty nice in terms of husbandry. Proper filtration, adequate space for the type of fish that you're trying to keep so that it doesn't poison itself with ammonia and nitrites and nitrates. And I know this ecosphere thing is like trendy nowadays, but for those of you watching who are still kind of like on the fence, like I kind of want my own ecosphere of some kind, and I kind of want a betta fish. Maybe just hold off on the betta fish, because a mason jar ecosphere is a beautiful thing, and if you're a parent especially, it's a very cool project to take on with your kids. Ecospheres are for everyone, but if you're gonna make something like this and use a mason jar this small, consider only adding shrimp if you want something alive in it, or even better yet, snails. Then you can feel good about it too. Hey guys, quick pause. This video is sponsored by Ridge. It is by far their biggest sale of the year. Are you still stuck scoring some gifts on Black Friday, Cyber Monday period? Ridge has got your back. Click the link in the description and comments below ridge.com/FFT to get up to 30% off from now through to December 20th. You do not want to miss the sale. Score these deals early on. They make amazing gifts for the holidays. Get those gifts done. Their new Hyper Lime collection is sick. We got their bolt action pen, their amazing key cases to match, and of course their Ridge wallets. This is a foolproof gift. It's a lifetime warranty. If you use my link, you can enter your email or SMS for a free chance to win a Ridge bundle worth $4,000. Best part is, no purchase necessary. You don't have to buy anything. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I don't only use the Ridge myself, I like it so much that I gave one to all of my groomsmen. It was awesome to see all their faces glow with smiles. Ridge wallets hold coins, cash, so click the link below in the description and comments for up to 30% off from now to December 20th. Alright, for this next video, we've got some beginner tips, and I just want to see if I can myth bust some of them or agree with any of them.
If you're a beginner, don't make these 3 mistakes. Number 1, the uncycled tank. Don't do what I did, fill up a fish tank with water and then go and buy fish. You will almost certainly kill every last one of them.
Alright, so these are not only beginner tips, but they're also really fast and complete tips. I agree. For the most part, people should not be doing uncycled sort of fish in cycles. Quite literally, 100% of fish keepers set up a tank, put the water in, go get fish and put the fish in. You can't like summoning jutsu the fish into the tank. You can't add the fish first and then the water. What this guy means is that you gotta let the fish tank cycle. And not everyone does this, not everyone needs to do this. It's just recommended because it decreases the chances of new fish dying when being introduced into your new fish tank.
Number 2, don't feed the living of them. Most fish don't need to be fed every day. And the amount that you think you're feeding them, half it. Maybe even half it again.
Yeah, I actually quite agree with the second point he's making. I am a big proponent of not overfeeding your fish, because overfeeding causes a whole lot of trouble for your fish tank, not just your fish. I can't stress it enough. Do not follow the guides written on any of these fish foods, okay? They're telling you like feed as much as you can in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Like, bro, what? That's a crazy duration. I ain't ever. Don't do that. For myself, I feed every other day, so I skip a day.
And do not underestimate how much space fish actually need. There's an old rule, 1 inch per 1 gallon.
The third point started off just perfect. That is music to my ears. Never underestimate how much space any fish needs, because for beginners it's probably more than you think. But then he goes into this like very old school 1 inch per gallon rule, and I'm not a big proponent for that. It's very seldom that that's actually true. A few Google searches and just generally trusted sources of information will help when it comes to deciding like how many fish you can put in a fish tank and what kind of fish can go with what other fish. Actually, there's so many exceptions to the rule, and in this hobby it's very, very not black and white.
Cambiamo casa al nostro pesce, pietroline rosse sul fondo, una stella marina, una lumaca. Prendiamo quella che già aveva già nella casettina, misuriamo la sua attuale temperatura, temperiamo quella del rubinetto a una temperatura basca, alla fine usciamo il pesce e lo mettiamo subito dentro la sua schiena.
I don't even know if it's Spanish or not. I don't understand this language at all. You don't have to be a genius to understand what's happening here. This goldfish is getting an upgrade. Wait, but there's no good news. How could it not be good news? Because they're upgrading from 0.1 gallon bowl to 0.25 gallon bowl. No! That was a lot of work just to put this goldfish in a different small little fish bowl. I gots to say.
They said fair fish didn't last, that they died. Well, I'm proof that it's all alive.
Okay, please TikTok, this is your time to shine. This video started really well. They said fair fish didn't last long. Prove them wrong.
You need a tank and have to clean it at least every week. Me and my boyfriend clean it every weekend. Most people aren't prepared for a fish when they win one at the fair. That's why they die. Take everything off and clean. Take tank to an area where you have water and space to wash the tank in and out. Take rocks out and clean them. Wash the rocks and decorations until spotless.
All right, TikTok, you win. That's what you want me to say, right? You want me to admit defeat today? Where do I even start with this one? Great intentions. Again, had us in the first half. That is not how we do it. That is actually not up for debate. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. There's not one fish keeper on this bright blue and green planet today that's alive that will tell you that thoroughly cleaning everything and rinsing everything spotless every weekend with your boyfriend is a good idea. Just search up beneficial bacteria in an aquarium. The noodle keeper sent in this fish tank, and before I could even say, hey, if you're called the noodle keeper, you better have some noodle fish in your fish tank. Before I could even say that, although I did just say that, this guy proved us wrong. This beautiful 10 gallon is stocked with a half-banded eel, some neon tetras, and some coolie loaches, and also a few hillstream loaches. So yeah, that's noodles and meatball central. I had to search up what a half-banded eel is, and I gotta say that's one of the coolest looking fish, and it's become my dream noodle to own for myself in the future. I did a bit of a quick research, and popular opinion is that they need at least like a 30-gallon tank. They're not very aggressive. They look to be pretty good for a community tank. I'm just assuming most of you don't really know what a half-banded eel is. I don't think that's a common fish that shows up on a stocking list. The scape is nice. There's a lot of hiding places. There's a lot of places where you can like establish your own territory, but I really don't think a 10-gallon fish tank is going to be very good for all of these guys when they reach that adult size. So I will have to leave this unrated. However, thank you so much for introducing me to this half-banded eel. That's very cool. Using a magnet to clean the sand, that is actually pretty genius. One of my pet peeves is that white substrate and light color substrate in general gets super dirty in like a month, and then it's not that enjoyable anymore. It's hard to maintain, man. And this is a very exceptional, very ingenious way of fixing that issue quite fast. Thank you, my bro. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. This was posted in our aquarium. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. You can read it, it's on the screen right now, but it's about some people being like snobby pricks about certain aquascapes, artificial hardscape piece to it, things that are not really like the primary issues of bad husbandry. This guy also continues to say like, it's a different issue if you're trying to keep an Oscar in a 2-gallon tank than like picking on some tacky aquascape and calling that a bad tank because they have bad aquascape skills. Or not even. Maybe they just like the way something looks and it doesn't really affect how the fish gets to live. It doesn't affect their health. And they're just saying stop like hating, stop gatekeeping so much. And I completely agree. This is a W message. You might be like, Chris, your whole channel is about hating on people's aquascapes because they look tacky. What are you talking about? And I understand people who are saying that right now, you must be new to the channel. That's totally fine, but because you're new here, let me educate you. Likewise, is my own opinion on what I like in a fish tank and what I don't. What I think about your fish tank shouldn't matter. Whenever I hate on a fish tank for real, it's only when they're doing bad husbandry. So it's not about how it looks. It's about how it's affecting the lives of the fish. Wow. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is a great example of what I've just been talking about. This is a beautiful fish tank. The land feature and the low boy, amazing size. The dimensions are perfect for these glowfish. There's ample room for them to swim. It's a beautifully scaped piece of art. So there's nothing wrong with any of the husbandry here. It would be a glowfish's dream to be stocked into this tank. Whoever made this tank and is maintaining it are pro fish keepers. But I wouldn't rate it 5 out of 5, and that's due to aesthetics. I just don't like glowfish. They look artificial to me. With any other fish, this probably would have been a 5 out of 5 easy. But because it's nerds artificial looking glowfish, the score takes a hit and it becomes a 4.5. BETTA sent in their 25-gallon bowfront betta fish tank. Along with bettas, there's also a school of neon tetras and there's some snails as well. I love that there's a lot of hiding spots and there's even that floating log for your betta fish to enjoy, and also that little leaf for the betta fish to rest on. The gravel is not my favorite, but I do appreciate the use of live plants and the very natural looking woodscape. The hue of the water also hints that there's some tannins in the water, which makes the water much more healthier for the fish, especially betta fish. So that was an awesome move as well. A solid 4 out of 5, keep it up. I am done letting duckweed control my life. That right there looks very satisfying. Wow. And I'm just surprised. The vacuum keeps going, but it doesn't look like it's doing any damage at all to that population of duckweed. Someone commented below that you can take a net into here and then just clean it up within 20 seconds. I think there's some truth to that. I've never thought of deploying a vacuum cleaner on that. Similarly, I have been reminded of another kind of video. Have you guys seen those like ground wasp nests? And there's this guy vacuuming all the wasps out of the nest. That is one of the most satisfying things. I love to watch that kind of videos when I'm seated on the golden throne every morning. You know what I mean?
So update on the fish, and the fish are okay. This is the tank we were given when the fish were bought, and all we need from the pet shop. Not a fish abuser here, they're all good.
What? You can't be serious. Ain't no way, bro. If I'm understanding correctly, let's say I put on a ski mask and I'm strapped and I bust down the doors to a bank. I'm like, everybody down. And I'm threatening people, telling them to give me their money. And when the cops come, all I have to say is, this is not a bank robbery. Everything is okay. What answer would you pick? A, this is a bank robbery, or B, not a bank robbery? Because I said it's not a bank robbery. What does it look like? Smilesy sent in their 10-gallon fish tank, and this is their first scape. Actually, this is their first fish tank ever. There's no stocking yet. I think they're still cycling the tank or trying to see what kind of stocking they want. It's a great size for a beginner. 10 gallons, you really can't go wrong. We got the night crew up top, a powerful and minimal light, especially if you're on a budget, one of the best lights you can get. My favorite part is that you use such a nice and advanced technique here. I think it's dirted with some kind of nutrient-rich soil. It could be aqua soil. And we got 2 kinds of substrate capping it on top. That's a pro gamer move. The only thing I would suggest is to make the cap a tiny bit thicker. And for your next scape, you can also employ this other trick where you keep the nutrient-rich substrate away from the front of the tank so you don't see it. For now, a 3.78 out of 5. Keep it up.
When I started fish keeping, I had never heard of a cycle. I'd never heard of conditioners. I'd never heard of fertilizers. Nothing. And I feel like a lot of beginners, they hear about it too late after they've already threw a fish in a tank and it died. It happens. We all have been there, I'm sure. I've had my fair share of incidents when I was younger.
This is a great start to hopefully an informative video. I really like that she made it clear that it's okay to have made these mistakes. A lot of gatekeeping happens and a lot of like out-of-pocket blaming and aggression happens to young fish keepers or fish keepers that did mistakes when they were younger and are now scared off for what they did when they were a child. I hate that. It's a learning process. Please have some grace, like this person here. With that being said, let's see what kind of products this person recommends and see if I also agree or not.
When I started fish keeping, I strictly used API, but there's definitely better options that'll get you more for your money, specifically stability and prime.
So I really agree with what they have said with switching from API to prime products. I think API is this kind of brand that gets pushed by big chain stores because they have connections with them or something like that. API is just watery as all heck, man. Don't quote me on this, but it feels like there's like twice as much products and less water in Seachem products than there are in API products. And don't forget, the key thing here for a dechlorinator is you really want to get rid of chlorines and chloramines and heavy metals. Everything else is extra. The extra stuff that Prime comes with is also pretty good.
There's kind of a lot used to it is the API stress coat, but I really don't know what it does other than make tap water safe.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I would suggest doing more research on, because if you're spending your hard-earned dollars on fish products, you really do want to know what it does.
Like treating parasites, I use Microblift Herbtana.
So this one, I have no idea what that is. I've never heard of that before. For this category of product, I generally just try to stick with Melifix, and it's really just a very tiny dose whenever necessary. And if my fish come with other kind of afflictions, I will then have to Google that and then go make the correct purchase to treat that ailment.
For fertilizers, I haven't really tried different ones. I've heard a lot of good things about Flourish. I don't use Flourish Excel just because I have a lot of invertebrates in my tank.
Right, so fertilizers, that's a whole world of information out there that's just endless hours of research. I also used to use Seachem Flourish Comprehensive for liquid dosing. I still actually, to this day, still use Flourish root tabs. I do have Excel. I have used it sparingly in the past, but I didn't see too much change. And yeah, there is the very real risk of killing your invertebrates, and I have shrimp in like every tank.
Seachem Clarity. It cleared up pretty much all my tanks, and
I have personally never needed to use one. She mentions you don't really need to use one because your tank will clear up itself. So I think that is definitely a waste of money. All right, y'all, thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. Hope this episode entertained you and taught you a few new things maybe, or confirmed some things for you or whatnot. Hopefully got your Monday started just right. Before I let you guys go, here's this week's Katwa. What is your favorite product in your fish room or for your fish tank? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys there. If you enjoyed this episode, please smash that like button and subscribe. There'll be more videos to come, and don't forget to get your hands wet. Tetra, 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 we in a spot, coming in hot. Ventral fin dot, acclimate that. Where my shoal at, clear my fin rod from Characiformes to Paracharodon. Hold on, there's not another fish that you can wish for. Lit fam sus, I finna one. I finna gone 3 days without furt. I'm an addict, like fanatic. I'm a baddest, no tabs, only dirt. My Cory gang so loyal, black tetra go skirt. We came to play, came to silence, gang.